Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Yeah, this right over here, this happens very, very rarely. And so when it does, I gotta make a video on it. NBC News, of all outlets, actually did some real journalism, some real field reporting. I know it's a wild concept, right? Journalistic outlets doing their damn job fairly, covering important stories instead of focusing on the next fake hysteria manufactured crisis, the next phony nothing burger scandal that they tend to put so much emphasis on to distract from all the good that's happening. Well, I guess every now and then, although extremely rarely, maybe 1% of the time, they do some journalism, they do some reporting that's actually worth something. And that's exactly what happened here as NBC News tells the truth in a rare moment of honesty. One of their field reporters actually went to the border and admitted what we've been saying all along, that Trump fixed Joe Biden's little border crisis in a matter of weeks. Finally, some coverage on the actual results of this administration. And there's this naive neoliberal notion that I think is really collapsing before us, a concept that applies to many different issues. Let me show you guys exactly what I mean by that. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, so take a look at this segment from NBC News as they cover what's happening on the ground at Eagle Pass.
Trump says he secured the border.
Nobody's coming into our country now. We have the border totally stopped.
We're here in Texas to see what those changes look like on the ground.
We've got the most controlled border we've ever had in the history and in my lifetime in the Border Patrol, and we're going to continue getting there.
In Eagle Pass, Texas, during the Biden administration, more than 2,000 migrants crossed into the U.S. in a single day. But now, under President Trump's policies, officers encounter just 20 migrants a day here. So the last time I was in Eagle Pass was 2 years ago, almost to the date, and I saw more migrants crossing at a single point in one day than I had in, at that point, 9 years of covering immigration. They were cutting through this barbed wire here and coming across the Rio Grande, sometimes with parents holding their children on their backs as they crossed the water. We saw a lot of rescues. We saw people bleeding as they came under this barbed wire right here, and then we saw hundreds gather under a bridge. They were taken in, processed, and then released either to ICE or elsewhere to pursue their asylum claims. Now it's a total change.
People aren't taking that risk to come across because the end of catch and release is a deterrent in itself. And then with the level of prosecutions we're doing for smugglers and for those entering the country illegally, you add that added deterrence.
We've been out here half the day now, haven't seen a soul. We patrolled the river, haven't seen anyone there either. What we're seeing and what we're hearing from the Border Patrol chief and the agents on the ground here is that anyone who crosses now is arrested, prosecuted, and turned back over into Mexico. You simply cannot cross through here anymore and claim asylum, no matter what your claim is.
And I want to focus on one specific quote. Quote, "The last time I was in Eagle Pass was 2 years ago. I saw more migrants crossing a single point in one day than I had in 9 years of covering immigration. Now that is a total change." In other words, Trump did what Biden, Obama, Bush, and Clinton, and frankly, every other DC sellout has refused to do for decades. And all this time, all these big-brained politicians with their Ivy League degrees have told us the issue is so complex. Oh, it's so difficult, it's unfixable. The only way we could fix it is with massive spending increases or total reform to the immigration system. But what a crock of shit that was. This crisis has existed and it was exacerbated, especially in the Biden era, because politicians didn't want to fix it. They chose chaos. They chose open borders. They chose foreign interests, globalist interests, and multinational corporation interest above American citizens, American safety, American sovereignty. The allure of cheap labor for corporations, and especially on the left-wing side, the allure of future voters for the Democrat Party, I guess was just too good to not indulge in. And well, now I guess the charade is over. All it took really was the snap of a finger, the signing of a pen. All it took was actually one thing: sending a signal of enforcement, real consequences, real deportations, no more catch and release scams, no more games. And this brings me to that naive neoliberal concept, this gaslighting that's gone on for really a few decades here. All these academic type thinkers telling us that policing doesn't work. You can't arrest your way out of a problem. Deportations don't deter illegal migration. In fact, enforcing the law just makes things worse. Well, guess what? They lied. It's been a lie. The proof's in the pudding. Look at what's happening now. The minute the US government actually got off its own frickin' behind and started enforcing the law again, border traffic collapsed. Illegal entry is at near zero. Human smuggling, human trafficking is down, cratered. And of course, the cartels are taking that damage. In other words, consequences work. And of course, on the interior of the country, it's the same thing. The exact same thing is happening. Now, as ICE is knocking on people's doors, they've got judicial warrants and pretty much broad authority to confirm whether people are illegal migrants or not. Another message is being sent. It doesn't just end at the border. You may think you're smart and you could sneak into the country, you could get by the border, but that is just the first hurdle. When in the country, at least under this administration, unless things change and the left wins again and then opens the border, this administration, these federal officers will not stop. They will find you and they will deport you. And of course, the left says, oh, well, black and brown people are terrified. Oh, but you have nothing to fear if you're black or brown. You only have something to fear if you are illegal, breaking the law, criminal entry into the country. There's a big difference, a difference that clearly the left is trying to conflate. They post clips like this and expect us to be outraged. Oh, the horror.
What do you mean overstay?
An overstay.
I don't know what that is,
Where
dude.
were you born? And don't lie to me.
I'm from California, dude.
Don't lie to me. Where were you born?
California.
Okay, so we're gonna take you in and verify your
No,
information.
you're not, dude.
Yes, we
No,
are,
you're
dude.
not.
Yes, we are.
I haven't done anything wrong.
You just told me that's you who I have here.
Yeah.
Okay, so then that's you. You just told me that's you.
But that doesn't make me an illegal or anything.
Open up.
Right.
Turn around or you're gonna get the dog. Turn around.
I haven't done anything.
This is Trump's America. As if that's a bad thing. You know, that's a good thing. Look at the guy answering the questions. Obviously, they know exactly who he is. They've identified him. They confirmed his identity. They know he's overstayed his visa and he's trying to play stupid and clearly hesitating in his answers and lying. Oh, I was born in California. Yeah, I'm hitting the doubt button. But again, if you're legal, if you're an American citizen, you're fine. You have no issues. If you can confirm to border agents that you have the proper papers or you are a citizen, you have no issue. But if you're clearly lying, if you're clearly illegal, well, you're going to run into some issues. And that's not fascism. That's basic enforcement of law. That's how every country on earth operates. I mean, even Mexico deports all the illegal migrants. But the moment America starts enforcing its immigration laws, suddenly it's racism and fascism. Spare me with this BS. And obviously there's an ulterior motive, and that motive is a political one or economic one. It simply cannot be accepted as the standard. And now it no longer is, rightfully so, and yes, it struck fear into the hearts of people who are doing things the wrong way. That's a good thing. And it's not just happening on immigration, I think it's also happening with Antifa. Once the Trump DOJ made it clear that political terrorism has consequences, you might face 25 years in prison. Once they started grabbing these clowns off the streets, well, notice how things have kind of calmed down. A lot of the aggressive tactics they've used in the past have seriously subsided. Sure, they're present in Portland and other places, but I think they're really slowly starting to realize it's not worth it, especially since the whole thing is a political gaslighting campaign. They're not actually fighting any real fascism. They're little LARPers, and now I think they're scared little kittens. Either that or they're having wake-up calls. Here's a perfect example.
You're cleaning up this pole. It's got a ton of posted to it.
Oh, Trump, ICE, yeah. I mean, there was somebody's phone number and address on here a while ago. I don't know whose that is, but that ain't good.
So what's your name?
My name's Austin, man.
And why are you out here, Austin?
I used to go to the Antifa riots back, like, you know, pre-COVID, during COVID and stuff.
You did?
Yeah.
You were on their side.
Yeah, and then, you know, a lot of the guys were kind of getting wrapped up and going to jail, and I mean, everybody kind of disbanded, but dude, seeing people like David Medina come out here consistently and like show their support, I'm just here to hopefully spread the word of Christ and do a little bit of the Lord's work while I'm doing it, so.
Exactly. So the guy's talking about how he used to be Antifa, but then all of his friends started getting arrested, and now he's turned his life to Jesus. Now, that's much more commendable than the path that probably most of these Antifa losers will take, but I think the message is still pretty clear. Some may turn their focus to Jesus, and others, well, they'll probably turn their focus to, I don't know, trying to unionize at Starbucks or something. The point is, fear has been struck in their hearts. They can no longer get away with their terroristic actions, and that is a good thing. It's like I've been saying for years, it's really not complicated. Enforcement of laws works. Look at Singapore. I'm not saying that we want to become a police surveillance state, but clearly, punishing wrongdoers works. It works in Japan. It works in most modern countries. But for some reason, there's been this this neoliberal spell that's been cast on all of these ideological thinkers that enforcement of law is a futile effort to curb crime. And thankfully, I think slowly that notion is being dispelled. Anyways, that's what I got for you guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.